Bonus!
Piper Leo! Crew, what the hell is going on? Oh, look out! Piper, now!
Here are these words. Hear the rhyme.
Crew, Piper, page, book!
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep it going, Phoebe.
Hear now the words of the witches.
The words of the witches. The words of the witches.
Crew, Piper, page, keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the
Keep it
witches.
going, Phoebe. Keep it going.
Hear now the words of the
Keep chanting.
Words of the witches.
Hear now the words.
The words of the witches. The story.
Crew, Piper, page, book! Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
What ass backward spell did you guys cast?
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Piper, page, book!
The words of the witches. The words of the witches. The words of the witches. Hear now the words of the witches.
Keep chanting.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Well, welcome to a bonus episode of Words of the Witches. Today I am with actor Michael Maize. Hello.
Bonus. I always like being a bonus.
Bonus, yes.
What's going on? Is that a
Oh.
really? What's to your right on the shelf?
This one?
Uh-huh.
That's a spirit board. That's from the show season 1 and 2 and 8.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
like kind of like a Ouija board thing.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yes. So, yeah, you were on Charmed. A lot of people probably don't realize that unless they're a hardcore fan like me. But you were a Celerity Demon in season 7, and I remember I had to tell you that at our meetings, which was cool.
Oh, you mean the name of my demon, the type of my demon?
Yeah, Celerity Demon.
Right. Yeah, even when you just sent it right now to me in text, I was like, oh, right, I was a Celerity Demon. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know we'll come back to this later, but I've done a couple more of the Ranger Cons since I saw you, and there's definitely has been some people that know I'm on Charmed, twice, and they're really, big fans of that, and that excites them. So yeah, it's cool. I was glad to to come back to it, and it was such a great show at the time, and then the direction that they were taking in now with the new show and my character and stuff, it was a lot of fun to like hop back in.
Yeah. So, what do you remember from when we met? That was like 2019 now, I think.
That was Orlando.
Yes, Ranger Stop.
Yeah, and that was right before COVID. So yeah, I think that was like like October, November of 19, like right before
Okay.
COVID. Yeah, I remember I loved your energy and your fanhood. And then like I remember like looking you up and finding out all of your info and the stuff you're up to and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah,
That was my first. I had done the Pasadena convention, which is Morphicon, right? Yeah.
Power Morphicon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'd done Morphicon way back when in like, I don't know, like 2010 or something like that, or 2011, when like the Power Rangers weren't just as popular as they are now. It was before they went up onto Netflix again.
Oh yeah.
And so I just remember that convention being like super dead. Hardly anyone was there. I think I had like 10 people come up to me or something, and I was like, well, I'm never doing this again. And then like two things happened. Netflix happened, and then like everyone got phones and social media and Instagram and TikTok, like the evolution of how people can connect with each other, I think raised the fan base of all cons, across the board. And so the fan base for Power Rangers really, really grew. So then I know we'll get back into this later, but for those of you
Psycho Black. Yeah.
I'm Psycho Black. So then Patrick David, who's Psycho Red, got in touch with me to be like, hey man, like we're doing this now and it'd be really great to have you here, and like you really should try it out once. And I was like, okay. And that's how Orlando happened. And I was kind of floored with how enthusiastic, like the change of enthusiasm with all the fans and stuff, and it was so fun. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so since then I've done one con, which was Ranger Stop in Atlanta a couple months ago, and then I'm also going to Morphicon in a week.
Yeah, that's coming up. I haven't been to a Ranger Con in such a long time. I haven't been to any con in a while because I've been doing crazy stuff. I've been doing the podcast and I'm in a musical now, which, so
Yeah, you're doing Cinderella.
I'm doing Cinderella playing Jean-Michel.
Where are you doing that?
It's at a local theater, Waukesha Civic Theater.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm playing Jean-Michel, who is nicknamed Social Justice Boyfriend. Because he falls in love with a stepsister and wants justice for the poor in the kingdom. And
Wow, that's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Waukesha, what is it? Waukesha
Civic Theater.
Got it. I
Yeah,
went to Pius. I don't know if we
in
talked about
Milwaukee. We did, yeah, in Milwaukee. So you're a native of my hometown, which we always bonded over, and I love that.
that. Yeah, I think that's. I do remember us initially talking about that, which I thought was so cool. Yeah, I'm on all my families from there. Like I have two brothers that are still there. My mom's still there. I just got pictures of the state fair yesterday. My mom was telling me about her slab apple cake she had there and the potato pancakes from the German restaurant. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And you come back for the holidays, don't you, to visit sometimes?
Yeah, since COVID, everything's gotten a little weirder, but I in general would be back like at least twice a year. It's been a little bit less lately, but I do have a lot of family there, and I have a good cousin and my godson in Madison, and so I get back to Wisconsin quite a bit. I usually try and like fit it in because I'm in New York now. I was in LA for a long time, so I try and fit it into like if I'm journeying from coast to coast, like maybe I can stop by and on the way back kind of thing.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever in town, reach out. We'll hang out. It'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. I miss cops.
Yes, Cops is great.
It's the number one thing I probably miss.
Yeah. Custard and burgers, always a staple of Wisconsin here.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah.
And so when you were at Pius, you studied theater there, or was it in college when you studied theater?
Pius is where I started. I was in choir, and then I was in all four of the musicals each year. My brothers had done some plays and musicals, so I started to get into it. And by the time I got to high school, I was excited to like participate. So I did all four shows. And by the time I graduated, I knew that I would definitely want to be in theater to some degree, but I honestly thought it was going to be more of like a sidebar. I wanted to find a strong liberal arts college that had a good theater program, and I was going to be a doctor. So I was going to be a pediatrician and do community theater on the side, and that was my goal. And then this particular college, Millikan University, which is in Decatur, Illinois, they have a really strong musical theater program. And so I signed up for a lot of classes like in my freshman year, and I just didn't have, by the end of freshman year, I wasn't finding the same like passion for my biology classes as I was for like my newfound theater classes. It was kind of like an explosion of self that happened in that theater department. And then it like evolved to me graduating with a musical theater degree, a minor in dance and a minor in communications.
Wow.
Yeah, like completely unexpected. And then from there, I was going to go straight to New York and pursue Broadway. Like I had no interest in TV and film whatsoever. I had kind of been brainwashed a little bit against like LA and like that style of acting, and you were like going down a notch if you were gonna like do TV film. And so I just never thought about it, and I always thought LA was kind of like the Miami rollerblading like convertible version of what LA is. And just like snobby people everywhere, and like everyone, is just conceited and whatever. But it's like it's not at all. It's much more of a melting pot of like artists and musicians and people in the industry, and And then on top of that, like within the 2 hour radius, you just have all these crazy natural wonders to investigate. Like there's the desert, there's Joshua Tree, there's mountains, there's ocean, there's lakes, there's rivers. And being from Milwaukee,
Yeah.
I had never been west of the Rockies before I went there. So I got a job. I know I'm doing a full circle here.
Sure, no, that's great. History.
I got a job at a summer stock in California. That's how it happened. So before I graduated, I got 2 jobs, one in Texas, one in California. I chose California because I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to go to the beach for a summer after all this hard work and just I was a melodrama and vaudeville theater. And while I was there, I checked out Beverly Hills because my aunt lived there. And so I went, and then I was like, well, as long as I'm on the coast, I might as well like try LA for a few months. It just made sense to at least give it a try since I was there. And that's when I completely fell in love with it, fell in love with just like the magic of what LA is and the mystery and like all the gems that are hidden underneath the surface. Which was weird because like I already had my roommate in New York, like that's the direction I was going. But and mixed with like when you see Power Rangers and the original Charmed, like I have this crazy curly hair. And so and I kind of dressed like a little bit like 70s vintage, like I had a whole look going on. And so LA is definitely good with look. And so I think like people grabbed onto that right away, and I got a commercial agent and booked a commercial, and then I got a TV film agent, booked my first TV thing, and it kind of evolved from there. I think Power Rangers was my very first TV thing. I was in the Jamie Foxx show, which I think was right after that.
Okay. Because you started with voiceover, right? Psycho Black was voice first. Psycho Black with the voiceover first, and then you came on for an episode where you were the actual person.
Yeah, I think the way they did it, because I'm assuming most fans know that like people doing the stunts are stunt people.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime someone is in the suit,
it's not you.
It wasn't me.
Sorry, bursting your bubble, the fans' bubbles. I know.
So the way they actually filmed it was they were casting the human episode where we like changed into human form, and that's what we shot first.
Oh, okay.
And then we went back and they were like, you know how to do voiceover, right? I was like, sure. And so we went back then and did all the voiceovers. I have a memory of when we changed into, you will know the term, and maybe, I don't know how much you're in the Psycho Rangers, but we changed into like the Megazords or whatever they are.
Megazord, yeah.
Megazord?
Zord, Z-O-R-D, yeah.
Okay, I was close.
You're
one
close.
letter off.
Mm-hmm.
When we changed into Megazord, they were like, just do like a really big like monster voice. And I was like, I'm not sure, which is just like whatever your craziest like monster voices. And all I could like, my brain just flipped back to like being a kid and like making a crazy monster voice. And I was like, and that's what it was. So I remember that being just fun and wacky and whatever. So that was just the evolution. And then I said, as long as things would go well in LA, that I would stay there. It wouldn't make sense to go to the other coast. And so things very slowly but surely progressed, and I just stayed for like 20 years. Yeah. So that is the history of Michael Maize's career up until New York.
Yeah. So, and you did a lot while you were over there. I remember you just like appeared in all kinds of shows.
Yeah, so for a good maybe 8 years, I did a bunch of shows: Charmed, Angel, Power Rangers, Jamie Foxx show, and like some like just like little things here and there. And then I kind of went through this dry spell. I was like, I'm not sure like if this is gonna work. And I kind of started to pursue something else, and I just didn't like that something else. And I was like, nope, I need to try this again. And it was like a month after that I booked National Treasure, which was kind of just a whole nother level. Mainly because it was like the first big film I had ever done. And it was Disney, and like there was just, it just changed the board in terms of the amount of people that were seeing me, because that film in particular was really watched a lot by like families and watched over and over and over on DVD and cable and stuff like that. So that was super exciting. And then that kind of started like the next plateau. If I kind of think of like phase one, then once I did National Treasure, it kind of continued. It was right before, I don't know if a lot of fans know about this, but around 2007 there was like a writer's strike, it was called, in
Oh
LA.
yes.
And there was also like an like economy downfall, and so the whole industry went like this. And I kind of had this vision in my mind that after National Treasure, like I would get like a new agent, and I would get just like really sore, but like the timing of that like came right after that. So that didn't necessarily happen, but it was so fun to shoot something with that large of a budget and to be flown all around the world, and like just to experience for the first time like what that felt like.
It's action, like adrenaline. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah, and
did, yeah. You did
it was
Eagle Eye
fun.
after that too, didn't you? You did an Eagle Eye.
Yep, I did Eagle Eye after that, and those were like my two kind of biggest films I've did. I just, when I said I had a callback today, I just had a callback for a larger film, similar. But yeah, since then it's really just been like TV, and all the while, TV kind of has taken a whole new direction since 2007, and there's just a lot better material, and a lot of the film actors are now doing TV, and like with HBO coming in, and then like Breaking Bad, and all of that stuff. And then there was like all of a sudden things were starting to happen in New York, TV wise. Like the Marvel stuff.
Oh
Daredevil was the
yeah.
first one that was like being shot here. And Mr. Robot, and like all these kind of like in Gotham, and like out of nowhere, the TV in New York was just booming. Maybe if like the world was getting darker, so like the shows are getting darker, and like
Yeah.
there's more just like Gotham
You
type
need that
shows
grit.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just felt it would be good to get an agent out here, and I did. And so I started to try and do like both coasts when I was in LA, and that's how that kind of started. It took me 2 years of going back and forth before I booked my first New York gig, and I remember it was Blue Bloods and Blacklist. Like at the same week, I did both of them. And then that broke the seal. New York was a little, especially at that time, they were a little bit. They're just a little more insular, and there was definitely energy of like, you're not from here. Who do you think you are? Like, just come
Oh.
waltzing in from LA. We're gonna use our own actors. So I really had to like prove myself. And then from that moment, then it just started like growing, and there was more self tapes, and so I was really able to like go back to LA and really be sending stuff in from LA, and then right around then is when I got Mr. Robot, which was cool, because that was like, I think just kind of it raised the bar a little bit of that show. I loved that show, and somewhere back in that first phase, I did True Blood too, which I think we
Yeah.
talked maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like, and I feel like I am a journeyman type of actor, where I just keep plugging in, and I like, the roles get like a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger, and so
You got to inch your way in. Yeah, little by little for sure.
yeah, for sure.
Every
So
little thing.
yeah,
I remember because let's talk about Charmed for a little bit since this is a Charmed podcast. Let's get into that right away. So you played a Celerity demon named Zyke, was the name that was given. They don't ever say it in the episodes. You were in 2 episodes,
I think
but
it was Zeke.
Zeke with a Y.
I think it's Zeke.
Oh, I see it on the fandom as Zyke.
Oh right, Zyke, but I think
Because
it's pronounced Zeke.
it's pronounced Zeke. Okay, so Zeke, because demons have to be different. They have to be like alternative, that way. So
Alternative and have like a Y in their name.
yeah. It's Zeke with a Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that was exciting because it was 2 episodes, and I remember thinking like, oh, I got like, it was one of my first things I had more than 1 episode.
Yeah, that's cool. And do you remember what you did? Like, how was it like showing up on set and things like that?
I remember I had like the claw hands,
Yeah.
with like the razors, and I still, it's like one of the other demons that was with me. I just auditioned for a film that he did, so I still keep in touch with him. The guy with like the long hair.
Hmm.
Um, I just remember being super excited, and that like the energy on set was like thrilling and like edgy, and everyone was really into it. And then I have the scene where like I, stab.
You,
You can tell me who I stab.
her name was Ruth Brody, so Kyle Brody's mother. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And that was one of my first like big uh stunt things, and I remember just doing it on my own and throwing myself into it, and just definitely like we were dressed like Mad Max, like with some like a little bit torn and disheveled. And so I just remember like really just trying to like ground myself as that character and like ground myself in the evil and the demon, as opposed to maybe like Power Rangers, which is just like a little more, intense or something. They were, I think, just like grounded and knew what they were doing, and
Yeah.
zapped. And it's not morphed. What do they do when they pop in? Is there a term in the charmed world?
Well, there's lots of different terms.
Okay.
Um, yeah, there's like shimmering. There's your power was kind of like a smoking. It was like you
Yeah.
burst into like smoke.
Yeah.
Celerity Demon. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
But yeah,
Yes.
Power Rangers is probably like more of a cartoony evil versus like a very like ominous evil. Like
Yeah. Ominous and just like grounded. I remember kind of like earthy.
yeah, yeah.
It felt very like grungy and earthy to me, and I think a lot of times the costumes can speak to that. But yeah. And it was super exciting because it was such a popular show. Um.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I wish we would have gotten more of you because
And
you
at
do.
the time, I was also friends. I became friends with Alyssa Milano. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like it was like an outside circle. So I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because you didn't really have any scenes with the girls, but were they like
No,
ever around or just moving? Like I don't know how it worked.
I don't think so. No,
It was just
not that
very
I.
self-contained.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I knew her through like a mutual friend. We hung out a couple times.
I
I
met her
was
in
like,
New York
"You
actually.
remember me as a Celerity Demon?"
She's like, I don't know. She's like, I wasn't in that scene. I don't
Yeah.
know.
She was always super cool. I always liked her.
Yeah, yeah, it helps that she's, very vocal about what's good in the world, things like that. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. But yeah, you came back in this episode after, and because recently did a rewatch and I forgot that you came back. I was like, oh, you come back to be vanquished. Like I guess it's like what 20 years later.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, so that was, and then you got to be with Oded Fair in that one.
Yeah, I remember that. And he was super cool. I have more memories of like the actual like stunt and like stabbing and all that stuff, but I do remember coming back. Yeah, it was an exciting time in LA. Like there was a lot happening, and Charmed, there was definitely a buzz around Charmed, and so I was super super happy to do it.
And you're one of the, I think, only a few actors that actually did the original show and then the reboot show.
Do you know how many there are? Is there?
I have no idea. I know there's at least one more, but I can't tell you who.
It'd be a good trivia question.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember hearing about one more. I just don't remember who it was, but it's very exciting that you got to do both. So on the reboot, I haven't watched the reboot, but I did watch a few of your scenes because I
Yes.
was curious because I wanted to see you. So you played a leprechaun named Frank.
Yeah. So it's like completely different.
Yeah, completely
Um,
different.
completely different. I mean, the show's different in general, um, but yeah, I mean, he and the breakdown, like the casting breakdown, when I got it to audition, they said he was more of a middleman between evil and good. So that already tapped me into something, you know. I was part of the underground, but I had a connection that they were trying to get to. So he wasn't necessarily like evil. He was just like in the underground world. But that was a super fun role, and to just kind of go with it and not have anything like keep me in the box. Like the director, and after I showed up, like they were just really happy with what I brought to the audition, and so they just wanted me to kind of go with it. The second episode I did is definitely like wacky and all over the place, and like when I explode into the shamrocks,
Four-leaf clovers, yeah.
yeah. But
you know, in
but
a
yeah,
way,
it was-
it's very kind of similar to the original. You show up, do a little bit of action, and then you explode, you blow up.
right. Yeah.
That's funny.
But more lines.
Yes, you did it. You did more lines, and I did enjoy your accent. Your Irish accent was fun.
Ah, yes, my Irish accent. And it was like a little bit of a scary Irish dialect. So that was just fun to tap into. But yeah, that filmed in Vancouver, which is always fun to fly over there. The whole series filmed there, and I was actually like, in my mind, after kind of doing the first Charmed and knowing where they can go, like I had this vision in my mind of like I was going to have at least like some pointy ears or like some kind of strangeness happening. And there literally was like nothing. It was just my green velour jumpsuit.
Very modern. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Charmed had leprechauns a lot, but they were all little people actors.
Right.
So it's they're definitely a shift there, but you know, it's different, it's unique.
Yeah, on the breakdown they wanted like 6'3" or taller, I remember. Because it's when I stand up, it's like funny that I'm a tall leprechaun. But yeah, when they threw me into the jumpsuit, I mean it was cool, but I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it would be like a little more magical.
Oh yeah.
But I get where they're going. Like they're going more like street. And then when you see my place in the second episode, I'm definitely more like the place as a whole was just like a complete grungy mess. And then there would be like little elements of green everywhere. There'd be like green beer, and then like a green glittery like pen, and just like random stuff. But like I'm like, who would ever see this? But it was fun. It was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you did get more lines. You got to really show yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
What else did I want to say? And you did Happy, which I think you really
Happy.
Enjoyed that role.
I brought some visual aid. I have my Happy.
Yes,
my
yes.
Happy
Grant Morris in there. Yes.
What'd you say?
Grant Morris in there.
Grant Morrison.
Huge staple.
Somewhere. Here I am. You see this?
I see it.
There's my character.
Yeah. Oh.
He's much more muscular than I am. But I'll show you one more thing. When you look at that, the Joker face, like there's definitely some similarities there with like the eyebrows.
Yes, very Killing Joke. Yeah.
Yes, but they went a little more sinewy than like power muscle guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy was probably Happy is my favorite role I've ever done. I love graphic novels. Like I love just the comic strip graphic novel world and adapting that into film and TV, and that show also out of anything I've done is just so crazy and wacky and off the wall. So very rarely in TV, I know I mentioned this a little bit before with Leprechaun, but like times 10 in Happy was like, please like stretch and go outside of the box as much as possible. And it's like you don't get to do that a lot in TV and film. Like everything is really here or it's there. But like that character is so crazy and the show is so crazy. And like Chris Maloney, like the first time I met him, it was like instant crazy fun, right? So he set up like that bar, and then we really just had fun with it. Like the first episode I did, that big poker scene, was just like me in my mind being like, okay, just continue to like push the envelope as much as I can, and just go crazy, you know. I have I in my later years of acting have learned that artistry and acting, like the more messy you are in terms of letting the control go, often like the more that comes into the character. There still has to be some structure there, I think, of like where you're going and what you're doing. But if you're in too much control,
Mm-hmm.
then it feels forced and it doesn't feel like you are watching somebody that's real. And so I think in order to fit into this crazy ass, you know, situation and show, I needed to just eject in like that. So yeah, and they just kept writing. You know, I knew I was doing 2 episodes for first season, and it was just fun that they, you know, kept like included me in the second season. And there was going to be a third and final season, which was so frustrating, you know, because it wasn't like a show where like you just kept wanting it to go and go and go. They were going to do one more season where it was Halloween. So it'd be like season 1 would be Christmas, season 2 was Easter, and season 3 was Halloween. And it was just like, it would have been, you know,
That would have been
awesome.
really epic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was weird because it was sci-fi, you know, and I'm like, really sci-fi?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that much else. Your network were like, you don't want to include this weird show, you know? But season 2 really did go into some weird places. So I think maybe they just
It was like, this is too much.
did you watch the show as a whole, or just my stuff? Or
I watched a few episodes, but I haven't seen the whole thing, so I should get on that because I think it would be something that would be interesting to me. But
yeah, there's some stuff in season 2 that I think you would be intrigued by.
Okay. I like that.
It's pretty wacko. But yeah, that was probably my favorite thing I've done. So
yeah.
Again, Chris Maloney was super cool, and we've kept in touch a little bit. But he went back into like, that was kind of, he left SVU, Law and Order SVU, and this was like his passion project to just do what I had mentioned before, which is like just let it go and not be inside of this box, which is what SVU and network television is. And like, he just went off the wall, and I think when it got canceled is then when he circled back to that new Law and Order, whatever it is.
Yeah. And you have Pretty Little Liars coming out, or is out, something like that. It's like it's like real new. So
that's my current show. Yeah. So that's HBO Max, which I was excited to get on because I love Euphoria. I love this show called Righteous Gemstones, and I think they're just a really good platform. And so yeah, they've released they're releasing in chunks. So last week was like episode 6 and 7, and then Thursday is episode 8, 9, and 10, and 10's the finale. So I'm in episode 6 and 8 and a little bit in 5. So that was cool. That shot up here. I live in the Hudson Valley now, like an hour north of New York City. And that shot up here, like in the Hudson Valley, which was fun to get on. And my character is he's like leans almost like the Leprechaun did, like in between good and bad, which is always, you know, I love playing bad. I love playing, like I love it all, but it's nice to just change it up. And I think after playing villain, it's nice to get a role like this where it's more like from the heart. It's more about his journey and like his flashbacks and what he went through and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the finale comes out this week on Thursday.
So check it out. That's a good promotional thing.
Yeah.
What's cool about that though is because Holly, who played Piper on Charmed, was in the Pretty Little Liars original show too.
Oh yeah.
So it's like there's another Charmed connection in there.
Uh-huh. Did you watch the original Pretty Little Liars?
No.
I didn't either.
It's been on my radar, but I haven't watched anything on it either. So, but
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This is something completely different. Like it's HBO's own version of that. It's not really a spin-off.
Like a horror version in the same kind of.
Yeah, it feels like it feels more like high school horror, Scream, What Did You Do Last Summer, like colorful, just kind of like, yeah, like horror movie type of mentality. Whereas then I went back and watched the original pilot, and that was more like early 2000s grunge, and like just like folk music in the background.
Yeah.
And like really these dark characters. Yeah, totally. So it feels completely different, which I think is good because it's definitely more in like the present TikTok mentality of the world, because most of them, there are a lot of people, the original fans, who were excited, but I think that their goal audience was like early 20s and girls are right now in high school.
Okay, so we have like 4 minutes left.
Whoa.
So
okay.
I know it's crazy. I want to hear a little bit about your Reiki journey.
Yes, here are the witches.
Yeah, because it's like the mystical, so
yeah. Well, my grandmother had healing powers, and I connected with that from like an early age, and so I always am definitely connected into the other world. And I use tarot. I have a pendulum. I have runes, and in the last like 5 years, I started to notice there was like a kind of a connection to my hands more than anything. Like when I would pick tarot and stuff, I would, as opposed to just picking something random and going, like I would literally, when I put my hand over tarot, I can feel like a little like bloop, bloop, like over like to things. And so I just like noticed a connection to my hands. And I've had a feeling for a long time that I should just pursue some sort of healing like art, and in order to give back, because I know I have a connection to it. And so because of that new like hand connection, I thought Reiki would be something cool to check out. So I have my Reiki 1 certification, and I'm about to do my Reiki 2 certification. And with Reiki 1, you can't really practice professionally. And I don't even know if that's my goal, but I practice on like about probably 20 people now that were like friends and people that I know that like would need it and want it. But it's a great way to connect and heal and like use what I hand to offer other people. So yeah,
I love that, because I'm all about the energies too, and Charmed actually got me interested in that stuff to begin with, and so I've been reading, and I always believe in the universe and the energies, and it's great that you can be a part of it and use your own willpower and feelings and senses, and
and find like your own way to tap into it.
Yeah,
totally.
Great. Well, this was fun. Where can people follow you?
Went by so quick.
I know, it went by so fast. These Zoom things.
My Instagram is just at Michael Maize, Maize. And that's the main thing I use. I have a Twitter as well, but I'm pretty much just on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes. And they can find me on HBO Max on Thursday.
Yes, go watch Pretty Little Liars for sure.
Awesome. Well, next time I am in Milwaukee, I will connect, and we're going to hang out and have beer and custard.
I would love that. I would love it. I can't wait.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
You're
Hope
welcome.
You enjoyed your bonus of the day.
I enjoyed the bonus. I'm sure the listeners will enjoy the bonus. And
I was talking to the listeners, but I hope you enjoyed it too.
All of us, everybody, we're all here together. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Words of the Witches, or Words of Witches if you're on Twitter. Email us at wordsofwitchespod@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns. And see you real soon for the next book. We love you, Spellworders. Your destiny still awaits.